One of the major problems we have in real estate as a professional in sales is people not managing the expectation before they get into real estate. My name is 𝘕𝘓𝑑𝑒 𝐸𝐿𝑒. I'm a real estate professional in Canada, I would say. I'm the servant leader of RORE Group. Real estate is all I do. I'm community driven, I'm client focused, and I just want to make sure everybody that I deal with wins. And that's what has put me in this space. And I guess that's what put me on this chair today. So I was meeting the real estate agent. I told him my story, what I was doing. And I think just cemented real estate in my head that this is what I was going to do. Because when I spoke to him, he was like, oh, this is what you need to do. If you want to do it here, you can join my team. That created the strong mindset of this is what I want to do now, because we started having the conversation. The main principle is real estate is not a short-term scheme.
Yes, it is.
It's a long play. If you making a long play was part of your key determinant for your decision in the first place, then you will be fine in this market. You have to work anti-clockwise. You can't make financial and investment decision because everyone is doing it, right? And if you bring this to real estate, you and I know that the best time to buy is actually when people are not buying.
Yeah, people are scared of buying.
And the best time to sell is when people are being greedy and say prices are going up. Let me go into it.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I believe we are all in people's business, right? Our business is tied to people. We're serving people. So the business is never about us. We have to take that out completely. So in everything, every product, every service, just think about the people.
For someone like me that is also building something, I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
It might look glamorous on social media, but
Absolutely.
I know it's not. For you to win, there's a lot of effort, a lot of failures that goes into winning. What do you think real estate and owning the business have taught you personally?
3 things. First thing is, it has taught me risk is pivotal and very important that you have to take, right? And as much as it's important, you also have to calculate it.
Okay, Richard, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I know we've been having this conversation for probably going to a year now.
Yeah, almost a year.
Almost a year. And I know both of us are busy. You're one of the top agents that I respect in this country, especially from my community. And when I see people from my community doing a lot of great things, I always say, I wonder, how it feels to sit down beside them and have that conversation. And I see myself, and my audience being lucky today to have you here to talk about not only about your business, but who you are. For me, I know who you are. As I said, you're one of the top agents that I know. I know you to be an amazing dad because I've seen a lot of your videos as well. Yeah. But my audience listening to you now, they might be knowing you for the first time. They might be hearing your name for the first time. I want you to tell them who 𝘕𝘓𝑑𝑒 𝐸𝐿𝑒 is and what you do, and just let them know who you are.
Okay. Firstly, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be finally here. We've been trying to put this, like you said, for almost a year. I think that's on both of us, right?
Yes.
Which is good. We've been very busy, but finally we get to shake hands. Just to go right into it. My name is 𝘕𝘓𝑑𝑒 𝐸𝐿𝑒. I'm a real estate professional in Canada, I would say. I'm the servant leader of RORE Group. Real estate is all I do, right? It's part and parcel of me, but it's what drives me to be who I am. And it's just a pleasure to be in this space. It came from the fact that I just love serving people and making sure I put people ahead. And that's how it's been. I'm licensed. I've been licensed for going up to 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say 6 years, going on the 7th year, and it's been amazing so far. I'm community driven, I'm client focused, and I just want to make sure everybody that I deal with wins. And that's what has put me in this space, and I guess that's what put me on this chair today.
I think that's what makes everybody that I've even asked question about you said, I know him, he's a great person. And, watching you from afar as well, I can feel that. And I'm like, okay, I'll love to sit down, because when I see people doing well or building something, for someone like me that is also building something, I know it's not easy. It might look glamorous on social media, but I know it's not. For you to win, there's a lot of effort, a lot of failures that goes into winning.
Absolutely.
You understand? And I want to take you back to, because I'm probably sure just like me, you don't get into real estate by just saying, I'm done with a university, I want to go start selling real estate.
Yes.
I worked in IT for a few years. I used to live in Dubai before I moved here, and real estate was not what I was selling or what I think I would be doing. of course, I have real estate at the back of my mind as to invest, right? What are you doing before you get into real estate? Walk me through that journey of how you actually got into the industry and what you were doing before.
Amazing. That's a very good question. So, because now people just see me and all they say around me is real estate, right? But we all have our journey. We came from somewhere and we're doing something before we get to this space. So I'll take you back after I finish. So I've been in business for a very long time.
Okay.
And when I say very long time, back into in my uni days.
Okay.
Is
it here in Canada or back home?
No, back home. So I actually attended University of 𝘰𝘪𝘁.
Oh.
Yeah, University of 𝘰𝘪𝘁. And right from there, I was doing business. I always get my hands on something. I was in trading, which is, getting into like merchandise and all of that. Yeah, okay. Just to also be able to make extra money and because I love it. But after then, I went for my MBA. Going back to Nigeria, I got into banking.
Okay.
Yeah, I got into banking, but I didn't stay too long in that space. And it's so funny that my real estate journey started from being in the bank. I worked with one of the major banks in Nigeria.
Okay.
And there's this customer that we have, it comes in and drop like volumes of,
money.
Money. It's one of our HNI. And it was into real estate, into land banking in Lagos, and he told me, "Hey, you're smart." A few times we spoke, and he was like, "Have you considered real estate?" I was like, "Real estate is something that I would love to do. It's something that runs in the family. We believe strongly in real estate, but I just felt like I was too young to start. Okay. Right? It wasn't coming to my mind. I was looking at other profession that looks maybe flashy, I should say, but he gave me that confidence, and right there I set up Crestline Realty Limited, which we later opened at VGC. Okay. Set up the company, set up everything, got the space, got it set up. Then I had to resign for the bank. Then that was when I started Crestline.
Wow.
Back home, which we call brokerage, but it's not like actual brokerage. The setup is different from what we have here, right? So then it was just 3 computers, 2 secretaries, and we started
real estate.
Yeah, we started selling lands, and we started JV, joint venture, and that was a turning point for me because that was when I got to know that people believe in me, people trust me. So I have people in diaspora that will say, "Okay, what do you think we can do?" They got into JV, they made money, they invested wisely, and that was the turning point for me that opened my eyes to real estate. So when myself and my wife, young couple, we decided to make the move to Canada. Which is another story for another day. Our purpose started from pains, but again, we got ourselves to Canada. And when I got here, I was like, you know what? I had something going on for me back in Nigeria, and it was real estate. I had no doubt that is what I had to do here. And obviously, a new country, a new terrain, you still have to start from somewhere.
Of course.
Right? So I created the plan, God's willing, got into social work.
Okay.
Yes, which I would say is another thing that actually really helped me. My first degree was in sociology, kind of aligns, but coming to this space, working as a social worker, helping other people, genuinely caring about them, brought that back, from being that when I now got into real estate, my previous experience in real estate and the social work, because real estate is
you're actually doing social
people, right? So kind of aligns, and that's been the story from from the beginning, and I go into real estate here in Canada.
I'm going to touch back on, your journey, because it will have been a whole question that I want to ask you about your immigrant journey.
Yes.
When I see people that move to Canada, my own journey was a little bit different. I was living in Dubai for probably 7 years.
Ooh.
And before I moved to Canada, I actually visited Canada 3 times.
Before you made up your mind?
Before I moved. So I used to visit, just go and come back. And, my wife is here. She's from here, and I wasn't sure if I want to move. I was like, it's not a Dubai. I was, like extremely rich, but comfort was there.
Yeah.
And another thing that actually made me move is, I think maybe the comfort is what is making me to feel like I should not move.
Gotcha.
When I look back now, at the beginning when I first moved, I was like, okay, when I become a citizen, I'm getting out of Canada. I've become a citizen for more than 2 years now. I'm still here. Wow. So when I used to visit, I wasn't sure. And the reason was it's a complete different place. And when you're moving to the country, the Western country especially, you're not, no matter how much people prepare you, it's quite different.
Yes.
You're going to see the reality when you come in.
Yes.
You might think, a lot of people come in, they will think, I have enough money, I want to go do this. the money might finish if you don't do very well, which
Yes.
is what happened to me. So, but I want to hear your own journey. But looking back at my last 5.5, going to 6 years now in Canada, I'm grateful that I made the move.
Great.
I'm grateful with my business, with the family, with the way things are going. I think one of the things I like about my moving is creating something from the ground up.
Yes.
I want to ask you that question. What was your journey as an immigrant when you moved to Canada? I know you touched on it a little bit. You don't want to go deeper. When you moved here, how was it?
Interesting. When I moved here, definitely culture shock for sure.
Was there any day you feel like you want to go back?
No, actually.
Okay, I didn't feel like
I've started to feel now, not that I want to go back, but to go like visit constantly. But when I came, it was tough for sure. I think one of the edge for me was because I came with my wife, right? So we both started, right? We both started, so that helped, to be honest. But when I came, I say this, I was the first generation in Canada, right? So not that I knew anyone, basically. I've gotten a lot of help along the way, by the way, right? I've gotten a lot of help. People have actually, really helped me. But when I came, there was no one. So maybe because I've already prepared my mind, right? I prepared my mind. So, but it was still tough. It was still kind of tough, right?
To get a job or to get started?
To get a job and also to get the right information. And I was being very careful of that. When I came here, I was like, you know what? I knew my first point of contact would be pivotal and key, to how things turns out for me. Exactly. And I really don't want to waste. And like I said, where I was coming from, I had something that was building and that was going on for me. But things happened and we needed to, to move for the purpose of the family and what happened to us, right? So, and we don't want to continue to grow on that pain. So we're like, okay, you know what? Let's save our life. Let's save our future and let's move to where we can start all over again. Yes. And when I came here and I knew I was going to do real estate, but the focus for me was, what do I need to do for the interim time? To take care of the family, take care of myself.
That's important.
Right, before I get into real estate. Because I was scared myself that when I get into real estate, I have no doubt I will get the knowledge, but the knowledge comes with experience. Yes. How soon will I start making money? And I don't have the uncles and the parents that will hand over deals to me. So, and that was when I got into social work. So I had to dust my first degree, did another certification on top of that. And I was doing social work. But it was tough, but coming with my partner actually helped me, and a few people that we just bonded and
met along the way.
They're along the way. But one that was very, very key, my first point of contact, we're not even family, we're very close cousins today. He was our first point of contact, like I said. We lived at his house, and that was the point he was trying to sell his property.
Wow.
Okay. But he works 2 jobs, always busy. So he tells me, "Oh, Richard, the contractor is coming today. He's trying to fix few things. The real estate agent will be coming." So I was meeting the real estate agent. I told him my story, what I was doing. And I think just cemented real estate in my head that this is what I was going to do. Because when I spoke to him, he was like, "Oh, this is what you need to do. If you want to do it here, you can join my team." And that helped. So that created the strong mindset of this is what I want to do now, because we started having the conversation. So while I was even doing the social work, I knew it was just going to be temporary. I will come back to real estate.
Especially with that person that you had a conversation with now.
But we didn't stay too long at this side. Then we had to get our own place. Then we had to face it. The journey of new immigrants in the country. We had to figure things out ourselves. But we were able to get out of it. I got my license just about 18 months after that.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to face the tough business that we have today. Right.
You said you get your license. I've seen that. Just to let you know, I read a lot of your posts, a lot of your content there. And I remember one that I saw probably last year. You were talking about your journey at the beginning of your career, that you are the known rental agent.
Yes, List King.
And when I look at that, it feels like me, because when I joined real estate, just like someone said, you're smart. Yeah. I think they told all of us that we are smart. Maybe they are lying to us. I don't know. So I used to teach people about blockchain. Remember I told you I work in IT. So because I know a lot about blockchain, I just don't put it there as a business. So that friend of mine that I was teaching, or one of the guys I was teaching at that time, told me, "I like the way you talk about stuff, about blockchain. can you just get into real estate? I'm like, come on, I don't want to be an agent. I want to invest. I want to be an investor. That was end of 2020, early 2021. Okay. But so I told him that I want to get into real estate in 2025. That was what I told him. It was like, why 2020? Why did you choose that year? I said, that's when I think I'll be ready. But he asked me one question. He said, if you start now, what do you think is going to go wrong? Why 2025? I went home and I'm like, come on, maybe I should start. So that day I looked online, I registered. To cut out the long story short, I joined this brokerage.
Nice.
You understand? And I couldn't get the proper training I'm supposed to get. My first month, I couldn't get it. But I remember his brother, who is also a broker in the brokerage, told me, hey, Aziz, I know you're struggling. It's after a month. You're getting out. Yeah. You know how it is now. Why didn't you do rentals? And I'm like, tell me how to do it. He said, okay, just reach out to the agent, put your property there. I'm like, oh, that's it? And I started doing rentals really. Yeah. What I realized there was it's kind of putting in the business.
Yes.
It gives you the opportunity to start learning.
Yeah.
Because you don't know anything about real estate. You think it's just buying and selling. No. And you keep learning. Even now, you've been here in 7 years now. I'm going to my 4.5 years.
Yes.
I still know every day I learn new things.
Yes.
But that rental is the real, I would say, the gas in my engine now, my business engine now, till today.
Yeah.
How many tenants or people that I have to rent property that I've able to help to buy?
It's a journey.
But a lot of people don't want to do that when they get started.
Yeah.
When you were doing this rental, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tell me what that decision of trying to start from the rental have done to your business. What did you face at that time, and how is it helping your business now?
It was tough, for sure, right? It was tough, but we all know if you're going to build something great, you have to start from somewhere.
Yes.
So you can imagine I was doing JV back in Nigeria, doing line banking. I came here, got my license, and I decided to go into rental. One of the major problems we have in real estate as a professional in sales is people not managing the expectation before they get into real estate.
Yes.
Right?
They see people driving Lambo or Ferrari. I think that's how it is.
And what I tell people is those lives actually exist where people drive the big cars.
And they have the money when they get there.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah.
So, and that's why when you see the stats that we get almost every year about a lot of agents dropping out, people that couldn't cross with the second year, is actually very concerning and sad.
Yes.
Because these are people that have their goals and admiration to become a great agent, but when they get in, because of the expectation that they've set.
That they have.
So, that they have. And when they get in, like, okay, the shock comes and like, okay, nobody told me this. I thought I was going to bank my first day in first month. So what helped me then was, and I tell people, that was the best 1,200 I've spent in my life, was the mentorship I took right after my course. Yes. I took it from Bob Refani, a top agent, and that was tough for me to pay. Right? I've never made any money in real estate in Canada. I just finished my courses. But I told myself, what was my hedge? What do you have? I don't know anyone. What do I have? I need to stay dangerous, right? So, which is me equipping myself, investing myself, right? And it's only fair. So I paid that, and we had one-on-one session. He asked me, who do you know? I said, I have God, I have my partner, right? I said, okay, you have to be realistic.
Yeah.
I see you're very motivated, you're goal-driven, but you have to be realistic. Look for what will keep you in the business to cross your first year.
That's it.
And I looked around. There's no deal waiting for me. And that was where I just said to myself, after getting my license, I want to start from somewhere. I want to be busy. I don't want to be frustrated the first year. I went into leases, but I went to leases because I was prepared.
Yeah.
So I focused on doing volumes, right? Putting my own strategy to do volume. And I got into it, but when I got into it, it was difficult, right? Like there are some days that you drive to the house, you drive to those listings, and even the tenants, the prospective tenant, they won't show up.
Yeah, or they will show up and they're leaving your showing to another agent showing.
There are times I went to showings with my son in the car, the car seat. I had to go to the showings, and I have to pull him out. We go show the house. So it was tough, but you know what? I was able to pull volume with that. But what that did for me was actually building me. And the tenacity and
knowledge.
Knowledge. And one important thing too is you genuinely caring about people. And that's what this business is all about.
Yeah.
Because when you focus on rental, it's not about the fat check. You're not going to get that anyways.
Yes.
But it's about you actually caring about, I want these people to get a place. They all have stories. All the tenants, they have stories. Oh, we have issues with our previous tenant.
Yeah.
We need a bigger space. The family is growing. And you know you're not going to make a lot from it. Yeah. But because you want to see the result, get them into a place that they like. So their kids can go to that school that they want, right? And we're able to do that in volume. And when the transition, came, I transitioned from listings to say, well, it came naturally.
Yeah.
But that helped for me to build the database, my CRM to have a lot of people, and we are still leveraging on that.
And I'm sure you might have helped a lot of those guys now to buy.
My first listing actually came from one of the tenants, just 6 months. Not them buying, but the father-in-law at the time was unfortunately going through divorce, and he needed a place to stay. So they rented a place with a finished basement for him to stay for the time being. And the man was like, all through the process, you're helping my daughter and the husband, I like the way you approach it. It was never about the commission or anything. You genuinely care. I said, I'm going through this. Once it's done, I will make sure you are the one who's going to sell the property.
Wow.
And based on the experience of what I read online, I was like, sir, I don't think you're going to have a say. We all know who has a say when they want to sell the property, right? But for some reason, which is something I can also touch on later, I was able to get the listing, and that was my first listing, just 6 months into rental. That was the first, and that was the beginning of me getting listings in the business.
There's a lot of things you said in your long reply and explaining the experience. I'm going to touch on one or two of them. You said you got your first listing from rental. Mine, I think the one single client that I've been able to earn the highest amount of commission from was from a tenant.
Wow.
The girlfriend was in Edmonton, wanted to rent here, called the boyfriend to go see it. I was showing the guy the property, not even knowing that he actually owned the property that he sold a few months ago.
Oh.
So I was thinking he doesn't know anything about real estate. I was just educating him, and he was like, there are things that I told him. He was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. He was like, my agent didn't tell me that. Oh, your agent? You have an agent? So we started talking. I helped them to get a rental property. I helped him to buy a property 9 months after.
Wow.
I helped his dad to sell their property 6 months after. So within the span of 14 months, I did 3 transactions with a tenant.
I started from rental, yes.
And from one person, that's the highest amount of commission. And we are friends today. And I like when we share this kind of story, because even though when you met that tenant, your intention was not, I'm going to help his father-in-law to sell. Yeah. I didn't know this guy had real estate before. I didn't know I'm going to help them to buy. Yes. It was genuinely to help them to cross that challenge of getting a place. You also mentioned about mentorship.
Yeah.
And when you want to pay that $1,200, I know there should be a lot of confusion of uncertainty about what will I get out of it? And I'm saying this because there is one agent in this brokerage. You might probably know him. His name is 𝘺𝑗. He's one of the top, broker here. And I got to this brokerage even through him. I did an immersion program in 2023. So before that, I've made sales, I've done deals, sold pre-con, sold resale. I've done probably every year at that time I was doing 35, 40 leases. Like I was really getting the volume. But I know my business is kind of a little bit stuck. I don't know what's going to be the next. I met him in the elevator and he told me, I have an immersion program. I want you to get into it. I was part of his team. And he told me it's going to cost you $6,800. And it's a 10-day program. And there's all that. I'm like, I have $600 in my account that day. Bro, I don't have it. He was like, I said, then I'm part of your team. Give me a discount. I was like, no, I'm not giving you a discount. You're paying the same amount people are paying. I can only do one thing. I'll give you a payment plan. I remember the statement very well. He said, I'm going to let you pay that money for 12 months. And if you can't get $680 every month, if you can't do one lease to get $680, then you don't need to be in real estate. That was like, oh, shit, he was saying the truth. He said, if you can't do a basement to pay that, no, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell people to go pay that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it, he might hear this. I've told him many times on my podcast as well. That was the program that changed my business. You're in this studio today talking about, having a podcast. You might have seen me probably growing as well on Instagram or on social. 𝘺𝑗 was 80% of how I got the success. Oh. So if I didn't pay that $6,800, which I didn't have, I don't know what my business will be today. So when I tell people about the word mentorship or coach, whatever you want to call it, you need to learn from someone that have made mistakes.
Yes.
And they are winning, and you want to win from them. So,
Absolutely.
and seeing someone like you that is winning, and I can see that you actually went through mentorship at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Let's come back to your team. You have your own team and your own company, RORE Group.
Yes, RORE Group.
What a lot of people might see you and say, oh, maybe you sell pre-construction, which is what a lot of people think about some agents. How do you help clients? What is your main focus on? You do commercial. What's your main focus in the real estate space?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just backtrack a bit. So the RORE Group started from what gave birth to RORE Group was single agent, which was myself, getting so busy and getting attracted to people that want to join real estate.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, majority of people in my group, they are my previous clients that trusted me with their real estate move.
Wow.
And we work together. They like, for their own reason, they like I work, right? I was like, they want to get their license. I was like, by all means, go get your license. And when you want to join any brokerage, you interview any brokerage you want to join. And they decided that they were like, Richard, what are you saying? Are you stupid?
You want to join your team?
Yeah, we'll interview you. I said, okay, if you want to interview my brokerage, by all means, that's fine. But they ended up joining the brokerage. They wanted to be part of the team. And yes, we've been working together. But the joy it gives me was, again, same thing I spoke about. We all need support one way or the other. We have things in common. We know our struggle, and which makes it tougher for us. A lot of people don't cross the first year, so we need to help one another. Yes, I paid the mentorship, which was $1,200. That helped me a lot. Not everyone had the opportunity to be able to do that. Not everyone actually was aware that.
Oh, that's kind of
mentorship. That's another thing, right? So I was open to help in my own capacity. If you want to stay close to watch how I work, maybe you can even do it better. Let's bounce ideas. Let's work together. That's why when I said I'm the servant leader of RORE Group.
I remember you said that.
They learn a lot from me. I learned a lot from them too, right? So that's how we work together. But the main goal for us is how can we serve people in the community in the way that benefits them, in the way they can use real estate to leverage and help them to take care of their family, build wealth, and build legacy, which is important more for us.
Yes.
Right?
For us.
Yeah,
for our community.
For our community.
Yes.
So that's what we do. Now, how do we do that? Yes, we are big in the residential space. We do a lot of pre-construction. However, we do a lot of pre-construction. We still do resale as well. It's majorly what makes sense for the client. What we've been able to do is open ourselves up, ensuring that we continue to educate ourselves, build the knowledge. So when the client comes, we're able
to have that knowledge.
We can pick the right product for them. So we do pre-construction, resale. Do we do commercial? Yes, we do commercial, but that is not our strong point. We have other commercial brokers that we work with when it comes to that, because that's another wing we're also going into, which is businesses and all for that helps our clients to be able to make more income. And that's what we do: pre-construction, resale, and also a bit of commercial.
What does real estate, from your own point of view, you're a business owner, you started business even before coming to Canada, which a lot of people don't have the opportunity. When they come here, that's why they don't think of business. Yeah. Because they were working back home, never thought of business. When they move into Canada, it is, how can I get my job?
Absolutely.
Which is something I think our community should kind of work on in changing. I'm not saying don't get a job, but this country is built for business owners.
I agree.
It's built for workers to be able to fuel the wealth of business owners.
Yeah.
What do you think real estate and owning the business have taught you personally in terms of you and what I've taught you about business, like you being in business and even humanity in general? What has that taught you?
3 things. First thing is, it has taught me risk is pivotal and very important that you have to take.
Okay.
Right? And as much as it's important, you also have to calculate it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If I go take 9 to 5, I'll probably have to deal with the same level of risk. But you taking that risk is just another foundation to show you that there's no limit to what you can be.
I like that.
Right? If I go the alternative route, which there's nothing wrong with it, I probably know the highest level I'm going to be in a particular company because I can actually see the highest guy in that company, right? And God's willing, maybe you're going to get there or not. But when you have a business, whether it's your own or you're part of something that is great, there's no limit to it.
That's true.
That's the second thing. And the third is, I don't just want to build something for myself, which is where a lot of us make a mistake. I have a few guys that when I came to this country, I had no opportunity to meet them, sit down with them like this, but they motivated me. They helped my journey. They are my distance mentor. I watch them closely. I read about them because we share the same, I would say, I kind of connect with them because also they are immigrants. Majority of them are from Nigeria, right? Okay. So them being successful for themselves, they now reflect on me to push myself and create that mindset of possibility for me to do what I'm doing is something that we definitely take for granted. So I want to be able to do that too. And I believe personally the best way I can do that is being an entrepreneur, being in the business space, build something from ground up that people can see and say, hey, this guy I don't think is smarter than me, but if he can do it, I think I can match him and even do better. Yeah. And that is that's the third reason for me.
And I like that, those lessons you think you've gotten from business. Let's switch a little bit into Canadian real estate here.
Yes.
There's a lot of uncertainty now in our industry than ever. I mean, I've been in the business for just a little over 4 years. So from my own experience, I think this is the most uncertain period. And a lot of people, both buyers, sellers, investors, people that are just thinking of real estate, when they see that cloud on, they don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen with interest rate? Should I buy in Canada? How would you advise someone like either buyer or seller or investor that is in that thought now, like they're not sure what is going to happen?
Yes.
What would be your own advice to kind of create a little bit of clarity for them? Knowing what is in our industry right now.
Again, this is what I said. This is the word that you said. We are in. This time is very interesting, right? For whether you're a real estate professional or your clients that wants to buy or sell in real estate, definitely one have to be careful more than ever before you make any move. Even us as professionals, the advice that we give, that's what I will advise clients on their next move. However, one important thing is when in investment, and you say you were into blockchain, and you can probably testify to this, you have to work anti-clockwise. You can't make financial and investment decision because everyone is doing it.
No,
right?
Cannot.
And if you bring this to real estate, you and I know that the best time to buy is actually when people are not buying.
Yeah, when people are scared of buying.
And the best time to sell is when people are being greedy and say prices are going up. Let me hold on to it.
Yeah, let me hold on now.
Let me hold on to it. And people, because that's what creates scarcity, right? Probably that's the best time to sell because when there's scarcity, prices go up. But when there's less scarcity, what happens? It comes down. If we all have this in mind, I get it. 3 years ago, we are riding the wave. 4 years ago, and I will hold my hands up. I'm part of those people that sold a lot of real estate then, right? Because this is what we do, and again, we are all learning as well in this journey. But what I've come to learn is, times like this is when people that are going to transfer wealth leverage a lot on real estate. This is when they are picking the best deals in this market, right, and in this industry. And if you are a buyer in the market now, I get it because when you have a lot of options. Sometimes luxury is not the best thing to have. You're like, I have a lot of options. You don't even want to use it and you continue to wait. Times like these are when you are able to make the best decision, definitely an informed decision. But if you're a seller, I get it. It's not a seller's market. You just have to ask yourself, do I need to sell?
Yes.
It goes back to the fundamental of real estate. The main principle is real estate is not a short-term scheme.
Yes, it is.
It's a long play. If you making a long play was part of your key determinant for your decision in the first place, then you will be fine in this market, right? You will be fine. So if anybody wants to look into real estate, I will definitely encourage you. Yes, consider it. You just need to be able to ask the right questions, work with the right people, and making sure you are making an informed decision. And lastly, on top of that, whatever you say in the news, to be honest, it does not apply to you.
At all.
Yeah, we create content too. we understand, we know the headlines that makes the, encourage people to click. We know what gets a lot of views. And sometimes all those headlines does not really apply to you. Headline that applies to a seller is different from what applies to an investor or a buyer. So find a professional that you trust and ask them, this is my situation, this is my profile. Do you think it's the right time to buy? And you'll be able to get a more tailored advice and approach that will help you.
If I'm a buyer today in this market,
yes,
how can I be a smart buyer? And I ask that question intentionally.
Yes.
Because I don't want to, as you've mentioned social media, we know that the media are trying to put everything there.
Yeah.
Either to scare people
yes,
or to push them into like, oh, now go buy. How can I be smart when I'm buying right now?
How you can be smart is actually the most important thing. It's a numbers game. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. It's not about, I know the emotions. I want to make this move. Shut everything. Go down to the numbers. How does this affect me? Can I afford it?
Does it make sense financially?
Does it make sense financially? And anything you're getting yourself into, especially as a first-time home buyer, this is a place you're going to live. But right from the get-go, start thinking as an investor. So there has to be that mindset shift.
Yes.
From your first property, see the first property. Okay, this is a beautiful space where I'm going to build my family. That's going to be my first home. But hold on a second. Can this also be an investment property?
Yes.
If it checks both boxes, trust me, you're going to be fine. Because being an investment property, even though you're okay to pay $4,000, but when you switch it to be an investment property, like,
will you make $4,000 on it?
I can only make $2,200. Right there, you need to stop, right? And review it, analyze it. Maybe it's not the best product, because if anything happens in the market
to your job,
then the property can take it. And that way you don't blame it on real estate and say real estate is a bad thing.
Yes.
Right? So personally, I believe that's one of the ways to be a smart buyer. It's all about the numbers, not the emotions.
You mentioned the blame now. I'm going to touch on one of our people in the industry. I hope she's not going to watch this. And I think you might know who I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
She's someone on the internet that I also follow a lot, and I'm not trying to create content against the person. This individual have been creating a lot of content saying Canadian real estate is bad. That's only US real estate. And when I watched that content, not only her, a lot of other people that they said go to the US to invest, which, by the way, I educate people about investing in US as well. I have a team that will partner with that is more for people that want to buy real estate in the US. But one thing I've realized is real estate everywhere.
Absolutely.
Does it make sense financially? Is it a good location? Do you find people, is the population growing?
Yeah.
Is the economy growing?
Yeah.
Those are the key fundamental things. If 2 or 3 of those things that I mentioned are not in a particular location, don't invest.
Absolutely.
Those 4 things still apply in Canada.
Yeah.
But this same person have gone around educating people. Real estate is the bad thing to do in Canada, probably because of some of the decision that this person made 3-4 years ago, because I still remember some of her content.
Yeah.
How would you advise people that watch a video now? You understand? They watch a video now, they see what this person is putting out there that, Canadian real estate is bad.
Yes.
How would you advise buyers, especially because obviously she's not talking to sellers? How would you advise people, especially our community, because the majority of the people that are watching this content
are people from our community.
They are from our community. And I see the comment and I'm like, hey, listen, I know I'm an agent, and when I say something, it might sound like, oh, he wants to get commission. Don't buy from me.
Yes.
But ask the right question. What will you say to those followers that are putting those comments there?
Firstly, it's actually sad that I get it. There are a lot of repercussions that came from, that happened from the 3 years ago, 4 years ago that happened in space. And
the type of mortgage also is one thing.
Yes, it's another
private
thing. So it's only understandable that we've been, reactionary to things. I get it. But it's sad that if you're going to advise, especially if you're from the community and you're going to advise people, you need to think about things on the bigger scale, holistically, not just trending on emotions, right? Because there's peculiarity to us, and I'll touch on that. But however, real estate everywhere is the same. There are principles and fundamentals in real estate that you do not change.
Yes.
If you change it anywhere, you get it wrong. So make it make sense to me. If you're in this market today and say real estate or Canadian real estate market is bad and I'm a buyer, what I would tell you is There are condos in downtown Toronto that were selling for 13, 14, 1,500 per square foot. In this market, you'll be able to get it for 800 square feet.
Less than even 800 sometimes.
Why shouldn't that advocate for it for people to buy it now? Right? Make it make sense to me if you are an investor that wants to invest for a long term, you're able to get 2 units for much lower prices and you are able to break even and even cash flow, right? These are fundamentals that you don't want to change.
Yes.
If you take it to the US or any other place in the world, if you don't follow the principle and fundamental, you're still going to get it wrong.
Of course.
And it's just so unfair that we try to compare, this great country with the US because population-wise, you can't even compare.
Yes.
So I get it if you're flipping homes there. And here's the thing. You want to be in an environment where you can flip homes and make a lot of money. And I can tell you, people can correct me if I'm wrong. People flip houses in the state and they make $20,000, $30,000.
Yes.
And they still glorify it and say, I did this, I did AVR and all of that. I made 20, 30, 40, 50,000. I can tell you I've flipped houses before. I worked with people that have flipped houses. When they make 20, 30,000 a year, they feel like
they lost.
They've lost.
They're
like,
no.
Yeah, it's waste
wrong.
of time.
Something is wrong.
People are flipping houses and they're making $100,000, $200,000 a year. They've done it for so long.
Yes.
And you're still saying real estate here is bad. I get it. If it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, go to the state, they will tell you the same thing. They bought at the very peak of the prices. They bought when it was too high. And right now, it doesn't make sense still. I think we should all be advocating for people doing things right, following real estate fundamental and principle, making sure the number makes sense, and working anti-clockwise. When people are buying, don't buy. Check the market. When people are selling, maybe that's when you want to sell. If you follow the principle and fundamental anywhere in the world, there's high chances you're going to get it right. And I don't think it's peculiar to Canada alone or that real estate is bad in Canada.
And I mean, one of the things that I also saw on the content, and not only from this individual, from other people as well, is trying to say buying a business is better than real estate. I don't think, just me, putting this out there.
Yeah.
I don't think I always tell people real estate is not the only way to make money, to invest.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best ways.
Yes.
We own business.
Yes.
You understand? It's not easy to own a business.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why, because being an agent, just an agent, you are not an agent. I'm not just an agent. You're not just an agent. You're a business owner. You're building business. It's not easy. Your first year, second year, if you're not careful, you're getting out. So saying the real estate is not the right, only buying business, both of them have their own pros and cons.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I'm going to advise anyone not to do both. But just look at it where you are in your life right now, right? If you own a home and then you get some income from that home, that's good.
Yes.
Right? And that's why I don't advise people just to buy a property that will not give them any income, especially except if you are getting it for like very good price. But when we talk only about business, why do people think business is that easy?
Yes. To answer that question, I would say a lot of us don't actually value our time, because when you put a dollar figure on your time, then you understand that getting into business is not that easy. I will not sit here and tell you not to get a business. I'm actually building a business too, and I'll still build businesses. But I know it's a time game. You put in your time. Where real estate actually comes on top of that is the fact that real estate, when you purchase it, you get the numbers right. And that's why you hear, you make money in your sleep with real estate.
Yes.
Because when the numbers are right and you put in a tenant, sometimes your investment property, you might not even think about it in 6 months.
Yes.
So it's not taking your time. When you own a property, you're living in there. It's not taking your time because your alternative is living elsewhere too anyways.
Yeah.
So that is what people don't talk about, right? They just say, real estate is bad. If you get it right and it's your home, you are not working for that home. You're just paying mortgage. You might as well be paying rent.
Exactly.
That's your alternative.
Exactly.
But if you own a business, you have to work that business, right? It takes your time, and which takes your time from other possibilities too.
Exactly.
And that's why I said if you put dollar figure on your time, you understand that business is not a joke. Let's even put all the risk aside. People don't talk about the leases, the escalation clauses. what if anything goes wrong with the lease, how you can lose your business space in just a month, right? People don't even talk
the emotional stress that come with it as well.
We are just being driven by, oh, I want to have the business. I want to have the business. I think business is still the way because we are building business. The amazing stuff you have here is you building a business.
Yes.
But let's look at things holistically. Don't let us work on emotions. When you are advocating for people to buy business, I don't think it's fair for people to knock off real estate.
Yeah.
I will tell you too, majority of those businesses will not even exist without real estate.
Of course.
If you're buying a franchise, it's in the four wall somewhere.
You need that real estate.
Someone invested in real estate for you to be able to have that business.
Yes.
And you know what? That person is actually, they'll probably even end up making more money because they are not getting involved in the operation. They bought the real estate, they left it, you are renting it, you are working day and night there, and you're paying the rent, they're paying down their mortgage, they're probably cashing flow, they are having cash flow as well. And that's how they build wealth in their sleep. If you're working a business, you are not building wealth in your sleep.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean building business is bad.
No.
I'm doing it and
absolutely.
I know. But I don't think one should be like, this is better than the other. I think.
And that's why we say when you're investing, you want to diversify. That's why I'm not a stock guy, but I understand when people want to invest in stocks. I clearly understand. Right, you want to seed your money in different places.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's fair to knock off real estate because if real estate doesn't exist, a lot of businesses will not actually exist. So again, take advice from whoever you want to take advice from, but I think it's important for you to create a balance when you're advising people and when you're investing.
Let me, because I know we've been here now, sharing a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
You've been giving my audience a lot of things to ponder upon. I want us to talk a little bit about our beautiful country here, Canada.
Yes.
What was your opinion on the economic situation? I don't like to talk about politics, but politics kind of shape all our lives.
Yes.
You understand? We have no option. What's your thought on the economy of the country and the political situation of the country? Thank God we have a new prime minister now. Either people like or we like or they don't like. What do you think is what do you see? The Canadian economy. Where we are now, what do you think we might be in the next couple of years?
So I checked their, I checked their agenda for, especially I was only interested in real estate, to be honest, when they put it out. I was just trying to create a balance from, both parties and what they're going to do for real estate. I won't say they're very similar, but again, it's almost of the same thing. They want to create more affordable homes. Okay. Both parties are going to bring in immigrants in.
Do you think that's the biggest problem in Canadian real estate?
Immigrants?
Affordable homes? And the immigrants?
So,
I know I'm putting you on spot now.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. So, again, how do we make homes affordable? I think, again, this is my own opinion.
Okay.
I think the taxes that comes along with building homes and what builders have to pay, I think is one of the reasons why we have these crazy prices.
Okay.
Because, again, builders set into this business because governments were not even ready to build homes anyway. So someone have to build it. And if they're going to be in that business of building homes, they want to make profit. But if you have to tax them from every point, it's only going to reflect in the prices, and who are the people that is going to show that us as the consumers, right? So maybe they first need to start from there. There's limit to where prices can go, to be honest, because there's cost to build.
Yes.
At the same time, but I just feel like I strongly believe that government needs to step in. The interest to borrow is another thing, right? The carrying cost of homes, what you pay in terms of mortgage, is something that they need to look into. I think interest rate needs to go down for sure. It needs to go down, and people investment needs to be protected too, whether we like it or not, right? People investment needs to protect, which is the value that comes with, real estate. Another major problem that we have is the red tapes.
Yes,
it takes longer to build houses.
3 to 5 years to get an approval.
Even for you to build a secondary suite or a basement, imagine how long that takes.
Yes. With
all the permits and approval and the red tape. Can you now project that to if you're building 200 units?
Yes.
So it takes longer unnecessarily. And a good evidence of that is if you go to other provinces, it doesn't even take as long,
yes,
right, to where we are here in Ontario. So I think that's where government needs to do better. But in fairness to them, there are different programs now, like the CMAC-MLI Select, yes, that helps to get longer amortization, low interest rate on the loan, and also easier entry in terms of the down payment. So they're bringing different programs to help, and also the loans to build secondary schools. I think it's just a matter of time that is going to help. But I don't think immigration, and I know I'm an immigrant, but I don't think immigration is the problem. Immigration is not a problem, but definitely you want to bring in monitored and bring qualified people and people with the right intention when they're coming into the country.
It's challenging to know as well. You don't know the intention of people. I think, just my own opinion, I think the number of immigrants coming to Canada, I'm an immigrant as well, and I'm never going to say immigrants are bad, because I'm in this country, I'm doing well, and I thank God. I thank the country that allow me. However, I think there should be a point where government should know that this is our goal for the next 3 years. This number of people should come in that will match this goal.
Yes.
When we don't watch it, we just think, no, this should be high. This is where people would think you're not doing anything, but you're actually doing something. Is that the number of people now that
outweighs
this?
Yes.
Before I let you go,
let me just comment on the immigrant so I don't shoot myself. So, sorry, but immigrant is important and is necessary because we need the numbers.
We need numbers, yes.
But honestly, I don't think Canada was actually prepared
for the number of immigrants.
Coming.
I agree to that.
We needed more homes. We needed more hospitals. We need these,
proper
infrastructure to house, these people when they come in. There was not really plans for that. I don't know where you live, but how many hospitals have they actually built in the last 5 years with the amount of people that came in? Yes. So something like that needed to be done before people come in, and it won't put pressure on also people that are already here, right? So, and I hope the new government is something they will put into play, because we need the numbers to grow. We have crazy land mass, right? So we can build more homes, we can increase the economy, but
that's true.
Let them prepare so it can be fair to people coming in.
And people here.
So it matches the expectation of Canada when they come in, and also people that are already here, so they don't lose key things just because people are coming in. Yeah,
I think I completely agree with you. The building other things that support the people we're bringing in is very, very important. As I said before I let you go, I appreciate you being here. It's been a wonderful, almost 1 hour now, having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
But if you have to leave people listening here that they want to be anything, business owner, moving into Canada, new immigrant, if you have to give them your own last tip as someone that have owned business for probably going to a decade now, what would that advice be? 1 or 2 things that you want to leave them with today that could probably be impactful for them?
Depending on the business they actually want to do, but what I will say is I believe we are all in people's business, right? Our business is tied to people. We're serving people. So the business is never about us. We have to take that out completely. So in everything, every product, every service, just think about
the people.
The people. That's what can get all of us ahead. That reflecting your decisions, that reflecting your system, that reflecting your approach, the team that you set, right? So when you put people ahead, you know that they are the people that you have to serve. That just helps everything. Second thing is the value. Nobody cares if it does not help them. So we need to consistently
that's true.
Think about how can I give value? How can I give value? And it only makes sense that it's going to come back to impact checks, to be honest.
It is.
Right? That's how it's going to come back. But if you, my brother, my sister that want to get into real estate space and get your license, please do not be discouraged. I would say get it. Is one of the business or profession that you can get, the best that you can get into, but it's important we manage the expectation.
That's really
you can be whatever you want to be, being a real estate professional, but managing that expectation will just let you. It will help you to cross the important first year and also the third year, which is very key.
Yes.
And it's sad that people that have like high potentials, they get into it because of the expectation that they have first year. They get this kind of say, oh, this is not for me. No, you're probably smarter than a lot of people that are already in real estate space that have license. So it's important when you manage the experience so you can cross. And the third for me, I would talk about is understanding that you're good enough. However, people judge who they want to work with based on 3 things. Probably, is it that they find them knowledgeable, or they believe that they're fast and efficient, and thirdly, they feel like they are trustworthy. It takes you to be in the business for quite a while before people find you knowledgeable.
Yes.
Right? And that will reflect in the content that you share, your branding, and like, oh, this person is knowledgeable because of what they're sharing. So maybe that will take longer. Trust is not just because they know you will not steal. No, that's not. Trust is, I trust you. I'm trusting you with one of the biggest financial decisions I'm going to make in my life.
Yes.
That requires knowledge. That requires referral. That requires proven track record. Maybe as a new agent, that will not be one of the grades that they will, give to you.
Yes.
But the third one, you being fast and efficient, no one can take that away from you.
Yes.
Right?
Great.
You're probably going to be faster than people that are already in the business because they're dealing with a lot of clients anyways. So what system can you set? How can you position yourself to be very effective and fast? When someone calls you, you're picking up the phone.
Yes.
When someone needs something, you're going above and beyond, and you putting yourself in the position that you're being resourceful. You're networking, you want to know the best contractor, you want to know the best mortgage broker, you want to know the new policies, how it affects people.
Exactly.
And also be in proximity of people that are way experienced, sometimes leverage on them with them, or
learning from
leverage,
them,
collaborating, learning from them. And that's how you stay dangerous and be fast and effective, so they can give you a chance. And with time, you build the business and get the knowledge based on your experience in the business.
Richard, thank you so much for
Yes, sir.
everything we've been talking today. I know people might be, listening to this while you're driving. They will know that what we're discussing here today is something that will help them. And, I want to thank you again. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Just in last piece, I want to say thank you for having me. And what you're building is actually incredible.
Thank you.
Based on what we've spoke about, it's all about giving value.
Yes.
You could just be selling and making a lot of money that you're already making, but you actually doing this, not just depending on yourself, but bringing other people for them to share.
Exactly.
It's something that precedes us, and it's something that helps a lot of people to learn from. And hopefully all the conversations, that amazing conversation you've been having, can impact one or two people that they'll reference to and say, on that podcast, I learned one thing and it changed their life. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.